I'm outside getting ready to water, and I thought, you know what? Everyone's doing garden tours, so why don't I do a tour of my driveway garden? One thing I can say about my driveway garden is I love it. I have ticks in the ground around here. A lot of reasons why I let my chickens free range and the guineas. But driveway garden, I can step out here without worrying about ticks. And then the other thing is I am horrible at weeds. Absolutely horrible. I guess, this is my second year. I'm just starting out and whatnot. But if I'm going to do a garden in the ground, I need that black weed cover. It's just going to have to happen because, as you're about to see, the weeds get out of control. So let me take you around. So right here is pretty much where we throw everything that we'll end up distributing to a future garden or make soil out of. This is a peanut plant, not really taken off or anything. I have sweet potato, sweet potato. This bunch is wild daga. I have another one I'll show you in a little bit that is farther along than this one. And then we stuck in a random tomato. This is funny. This was supposed to be my beets, and they're supposed to be so easy to grow. I didn't grow them. But I'll try again for my fall garden. Sweet potato, potato. This is pretty awesome. This is something I bought from the local Amish, and they're all getting ready to ripe, but it absolutely was dying. And I put it into new soil, and one sucker decided to grow, and now it's producing more blooms. And I'm gonna show you what this plant looked like before I put it into new soil. This is horseradish. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just came across this the other day. It was like a neglected package, and it seems to be growing. So who knows? Maybe we'll get horseradish. This is my favorite squash. This is called sweet meat, and I'm in love with it. I have to tell you about sweet meat squash. Before I even ever attempted to grow squash on my own, this is really my first year, and I took all these different varieties. I always liked the yellow squash from the store, and I grew that. And now that I grew that, that has been my least favorite out of everything I grew. And the sweet meat almost smelled like a melon, and it was like, it wasn't a melon, but it was sweet enough where I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I could eat this squash raw. And when I cooked it, I usually cook my squash and fry it up to where it's like really brown. But the sweet meat, I did not need to do that. It was really nice and crisp, almost like a cucumber, but not a cucumber. I'm just so excited because I would have never been exposed to sweet meat squash if I hadn't grown it myself. And it's really like opened my eyes to the possibility of gardening, and I'm just so excited. And it's by far my favorite. This is my contest tomato. And it's so funny because I have done so much with this plant, really try to protect it. And it's the one I like, now I just see like little like aphids or something on it that I have to address. And it's kind of funny because the other ones that I kind of neglect, they're doing fine. Oh, I gotta show you. This is Whiskers. She's came to say hi. Look at her butt. You see that she has no tail feathers? That is because she's an Araucana. And you see that little whisker there? Well, her name is Whisker because of it. It's called a tuft. And she's the only breed that actually has tufts, and we're pretty excited to be able to get her. And she lays blue eggs, or will. She's not laying yet, but she's one of my favorite chickens. All right, so here is my strawberry garden. They're actually doing really good. The chickens come through here all the time. They do have one area where they dust bathe, but for the most part, they're not destructive of the strawberry plants. They pick on, let me see if I can show you. They pick on the weed or the natural ground cover, and they pick off the blossoms of the strawberry plants. But the leaves, for the most part, they leave alone. And since this is my first year planting strawberry plants in the ground, and they're perennial and they'll come back every year, I wanted to take the blossoms off the strawberry plants this year anyways, because it will help the plant focus on root development. So they're kind of doing that job for me. I mean, there's a little price to pay for allowing them to go in here, but so far I'm not worried about them destroying this area. In fact, I really feel like they're helping me. Oh look, there's Duke and there's Snowball. I don't know if you know White House on the Hill. They have a wonderful channel, really large. But I live fairly close, and I was able to pick up Duke and Snowball from them. They had too many roosters and a white silky winter, and it's been nice having them in the homestead, and they get along. Actually, it's kind of funny. They used to fight at White House in the Hills farm, but now they're best buds here. I guess it's because there's so many chickens, so they kind of like stick together because they know each other. But I thought it was neat. Let me show you on my towers. So these are my towers. I'm doing my pepper project video, and 5 towers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and when way back there are filled with peppers. I mean, there's flowers at the bottom, there's basil and maybe flowers on the top, but for the most part, all of the 1, 2, 3, 18, like there's 18 pepper plants in each one at least. So it's a lot of peppers, but they're doing really good. I'll show you some of my favorites that are growing. These are the sweet yellow stuffing. This is sweet chocolate. Oh, I do have an eggplant here that I stuck in a spot where the pepper died. Might as well, right? This is a Spanish mammoth, and it's beautiful. Like, and this isn't even one of my rock stars. Let me bring you over here real quick. This right here, these are only supposed to get like 4 inches long. This is a Melrose, but they're huge and they're doing really well, and they're actually just starting to turn colors. Like I can almost see the red. So I'm getting really excited because I'm going to be able to bring them in the house soon. Out of all of these peppers, most of them I grew by seed, with the exception of 1, 2, 3, 4 banana plants, which I had to pick up from the local Amish because I'm doing some experimenting with that. Those have been following my pepper project. Look at what the foil has done to this plant. It is turning yellow. So very interesting. We'll see if it's just adjusting to the extra light that it's getting and if it will come back and produce more, but I'm betting foil's not all that. I want to show you over here too. This is a sweet chocolate. If you remember, this is a sweet chocolate. Look at the difference. This one, the soil is, I put like 50% sand with soil in here, thinking sandy soil, let me try that. The sandy soil versus all these other containers, complete different. So if you are ever thinking about well draining and putting sand in the soil, I do not recommend it. Let me bring you over here. This is just beautiful. I am in love. Okay, I gotta talk about Swiss chard. Year ever growing Swiss chard, and I'm in love. Okay, I cannot grow spinach. I've tried to grow spinach. I will continue to grow spinach, But Swiss chard it doesn't have as deep of, I guess, flavor, but anything you can use spinach in, spinach dip, sauteing, anything, you can use Swiss chard leaves for. And the stems kind of remind me of celery, but you can cut them up right along with the dish that you're making. You just start them earlier, and it's really, really good, and I can grow it. That's the key thing for me. Like, I'm learning, like, I don't need to grow everything, but I'm figuring out what works for me, and this does, and I love it. I can put it in eggs. I can just make a green side. I made an artichoke dip which also required spinach, and I threw Swiss chard in it. It was amazing. I love it. I will grow Swiss chard every year. Now, I have not tried all these other greens, so who knows? Maybe this will be like my lemon squash, or not lemon squash, but my yellow squash from the store. And as I get into more greens, maybe this will fall down on my list. But right now, I love soups, anything. Okay, let me turn you back around. Okay, so on the top, I have a toothache plant. And oh my gosh, if you bite into one of these, it numbs your mouth. The taste is absolutely horrible. You will spit out the piece, but once you're done, it has this bite on your mouth, like almost like a heat. And then the heat and tingling goes away and your mouth is numb. It's so interesting, and I'm going to be harvesting all these and keeping it on hand in case anybody gets a toothache. I mean, it is called a toothache plant for a reason. Or maybe I can make some kind of lotion. It's so cute. And if anybody doesn't know, that is a little baby ladybug. See if you can put it on this plant. Oops. See those guys? Those little white dudes? Yeah. Put it on the plant. Maybe we can see it eat those guys. Yes! That makes me so happy. You do your work. You are interested in learning about ladybugs, Asian lady beetles, squash beetles, and bean beetles. I will be having a video coming up soon about how to tell the difference, and they all kind of look alike. It's pretty interesting. I love learning about the beneficial insects and pests for your garden. So subscribe and look out for that future video. But let's go back to my driveway garden. This, believe it or not, is a strawberry that actually blooms this beautiful pink. And then I have a variegated strawberry, and then I have another strawberry here where there's no blooms right now, but this is a very adorable light pink bloom. In fact, this one is ready to harvest, so I'm gonna do that now. I am seriously gonna have to grow so many strawberries next year because we just can't get enough of them, and they're so amazing. And I don't know, I kind of want to really get into all different strawberry varieties. I just think it's so cool to have pink blooms, hot pink blooms, variegated. I even have in here, it's not showing, but this little wild, it looks like a strawberry that I got from my yard. It has no flavor whatsoever, but the little blossoms are yellow, and I just thought they're so adorable, and I put them in here. But with that said, definitely next year, a larger strawberry harvest. Right now we can come out, we could eat 2 or 3 a day for the month of June. But we want to can, we want to freeze, we want to have milkshakes and just straight up drinks, and definitely future goals. And now look, this is another toothache plant like the one before. And I was worried about the leaves. Something's eating the leaves, but it had no problem blooming. And all my toothache plants kind of got beat up like this, but as long as it's producing flowers, I figured it was okay. So I kind of left it alone. This is chamomile. I'll be trying this first time. I'm actually waiting for the Stivers to put out their video on how they made their tea because I follow them, but I'm really excited about that. I'm drying one stem right now, but I have a lot more to harvest. There's an eggplant. And for anyone who doesn't know that these containers I'm growing in are green stalks, talk about the green stalks for a little bit. Last year was my first year really attempting a garden. I tried gardening in the grounds, and then I had bought one green stalk to put plants in. And I had no success in my potatoes in the ground. I had no success at all, really, on anything that I did last year, except for these green stalks. And for that reason, I bought 8 of them. Well, I bought 7 more. So I have 8 total because I knew I could count on it. And it was a pretty large investment up front, but I don't even know what the warranty is on this, but I think I'm gonna have these the rest of my life. Heavy duty plastic. I've had one tower fall, but it was a horrible thunderstorm, really, really bad. And I've really had no problems at all. So I figure it is an upfront investment, but it's something that I'm going to produce food year after year after year in my driveway. No, I'm not affiliated with them. Then this is spearmint. In here, I had rosemary, I think, or leaf basil or something that died, and I put that yellow strawberry plant in there at the bottom, and it seems to be doing okay, but no little blooms. I should take that tag out because it's not accurate anymore. I think this is peppermint that's in here growing. It's funny because I took peppermint out, but it's still there. This right here, this is lemon balm that's coming through from this side, and this is cilantro. And I should have grown more cilantro because I cook with it often and I love it so much. And look, it's actually trying to give me seeds, which I'll probably let it and I'll collect because I don't think I'm gonna get much more from this. And that is that row. I got some more basil. Look at this curled parsley. And this was huge. I have a lot drying inside the house right now, and I cut it way back and it's already popping out again. Some sage. This I need to cut back. I haven't yet. The rosemary in here died from all the wet rain, but here's some oregano I need to bring in. So you'll notice with a lot of my green stalks, I don't have much at the bottom at all. I have some flowers that I put down here, but everything on my bottom is subjected to those guys. And I've actually have 2 right here that I usually have protected by ugly looking grates that I took off just to make this video, but I will be protecting these 2 because they're part of my pepper project video. But other than that, everything down here pretty much gets pecked at by them. And look, I actually got some fruit growing. Surprised. So next year, if I'm going to keep my driveway garden and my chickens, what I'm going to do is I'll either do the bottom with flowers for the pollinators, because it seems like they don't care for the marigolds. Like, look how well they're doing. Or I'll just focus on stuff that's good for chickens, and I'll just use it to feed them, because I enjoy both my garden and them. Really, it's only my young ones that are not in the main flock that kind of get bullied outside the main fence that come in here anymore. I used to have the geese, the ducks, everything, but I got tired of them crapping all over my driveway. So for the most part, it's not encouraged. So it's a learning process. That's one thing about animals, but this is not an animal video, so let's go back to gardening. Yeah, so I pretty much have some peppers. This is my Carolina Reaper, which I have a friend who was really looking forward to that. Here's another strawberry plant. Some more peppers. Oh, I want to show you this. This right here is a baby black Hungarian pepper. And look at the blossoms. It's the only pepper plant I'm growing this year that has purple blossoms. And I'm excited to see them grow up. And this is not a jalapeno, but they're kind of, I got them from Baker Creek, and they were kind of like next to the jalapenos. I guess they're the same, like thick walled, and they're kind of like a jalapeno. So I'm really looking forward to them and seeing what I can make. Look, there's literally flowers inside a flower. This right here is a ghost pepper, I believe. And this, my ghost pepper, I did by seed, had died, but then I went to Baker Creek where I purchased this and I planted it in here. So transplants do really well in these green stalks as well. But I'm really excited. I know my son's really excited to try ghost peppers. That was his request, and this is his plant. We're making a video, and Maurice just came out. He's like, can you pick some herbs and the ripest tomatoes? I'm cooking. So that's pretty awesome. It's nice having a man that cooks, and I'll be happy to pick some herbs. Definitely think he should have oregano. Plenty of that. And definitely a little bit of sage, some more parsley, and some lemon balm. I think you can't go wrong with lemon balm. And then let's see what else. Oh, basil. Have to have basil. This is literally what I do when we're cooking anything. I come out here and grab what I want. And let's go grab some tomatoes. All right, and we're gonna bring these inside. I have some more over here. I want you to bring some Thai basil. And I think this one. Oh, let me turn them around. It's kind of funny, I put it next to some chocolate mint because I think of the Stiver Homestead when I think of chocolate mint, and I think of Jess when I hear Thai or holy basil. So I put them next to each other. This is salvia, beautiful annual. This, I'm hoping this tower becomes my carrot tower. I don't know if it's too hot to grow carrots. This is pineapple sage. Definitely some pineapple sage. Ah,
can I smell
I
it?
love the smell of this.
Can I?
Yeah, it smells so good. All right,
love it.
go give that to Dad. So now I am right by my sunroom. That's where I have my indoor pond, my bog filter with banana plants, cucumber plant. I'll show you when I get to the side. But I want to show you right here. This is a peanut butter fruit tree and a fern that I'm not doing really well with, but it still has green leaves, so I'm gonna let it go. Let me turn you around. I'm praying opens. Supposedly a fruit that actually tastes like peanuts, like peanut butter. Like, I just think that's so neat, and that kind of stuff tickles me. So I can't wait to try. It bloomed last year and all the blooms fell off. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that they stay on this year and I'm actually able to try that fruit. So I got pineapple sage. This is catnip, and I have a little kitty cat, so this should be fun. And there's actually a lot of medicinal value I have to look into for catnip. I always just thought it was for cats. And then salvia back there is just, oh my gosh, I have to spray paint this black after the gardening season's over. But I actually got this fixture from a store locally that was closing out. In fact, I don't know, this right here that my tomato plant is going to go up, that was actually a sign holder that I turned into a trellis. And over here You could see. So we actually bought a lot of stuff to use in the garden from this business that was going out of business. All right, this right here is really me wanting to test what I could do in these green stalks. I have tried back in Florida 4 years ago to grow melons, watermelons. I have never successfully grown a melon. I tried last year in my ground. They all died, but I threw a whole bunch of melons, watermelons in here. And if I get a melon this year in this hectic mess, I will be tickled pink because it's more than I've ever done in my life. So I'm really excited about what I'm seeing going on here, but I don't know enough about growing melons. Funny thing is, look at this. I thought I was doing all melons, and I planted a whole bunch of gourds and squash by accident. I'll show you why. I put the name like this, and I'm like, oh, that's a weird melon. Oops. I put squash on the back. So when I put them in these green stalks, I thought it was all just gonna be melons like this, and then this happened. But look at these things. Isn't that hilarious? I'm really curious to try this. If these are good, that would be awesome because they give you so much with each fruit. I got a whole bunch of little guys growing. Over here, these are pollinators. We have some lavender starting to shoot up. Oh, it smells so good. Now these roses, oh my goodness. It's so hard to find roses that look like this that actually smell good. And when I buy roses, I always buy roses based off how they smell. And both of these smell beautiful. They're on the small side, but I absolutely love them. And then I bought these beans. I haven't actually successfully grown anything by seed yet when it comes to beans, but I did transplant these into grow bags and they seem to be doing really well. And I'm excited to see maybe this cover up. Then when I store got this, really love the country look. We planted a whole bunch of strawberries in there. This is my daughter's strawberries, and every day she comes out here and she picks certain ones and she gets rid of some blossoms that she doesn't like, and she really enjoys coming out here and eating her strawberries every day. Oh, give this to Dad. This is some English thyme. Oh, this is gonna be hard with one hand. So I'm gonna give some thyme, put that inside for cooking. No dill today. And then we got dill back here. Now down here, this is the peppermint you saw earlier that I actually transplanted to here. And the reason I put this here from the green stalk is because I saw these flowers, and these flowers remind me of candy canes. And I thought it would be so neat to plant the peppermint flavor mint next to these peppermint looking flowers. So this just brings me joy, and it smells beautiful. Getting past this area, I'm coming over here and I have a whole bunch of hibiscus. Aw, look at that. This that makes me smile. I have some more grow bags. I just started more squash because squash gets beat up and dies pretty fast. So I also got cucumbers in here. So these two are both cucumbers. This right here is something I don't really know what these are. This is completely experimental. They're not carrots. They're some type of root that you put in stews and use, and I'm just trying. Let's see how this goes. I think we have two different kinds in here. Salsify, that's the name. Salsify Mammoth Sandwich Island is on this side. And then we have this one on this side. Squash. This squash is not really making it. Oh no, that was a melon. Oh, okay, I didn't, shoot, I wish I knew that. This melon, I'm not sure it's gonna make it, so I threw a sunflower seed in there. I saw online today somebody grew a sunflower in one of these bags, and I thought it'd be really cool to be able to pick up and move a sunflower around. So we'll see if that works. Here's my other Swiss chard in these pots. I have a grapevine, and a whole bunch of perennial strawberries. So really the only thing in here annual is my Swiss chard. And I've just been, I love Swiss chard. Another view of my bog filter. I have a coffee plant in here. I have my fish, my banana plants, which they'll survive because this is all heated by our house when we want it to be. We have a door that goes in there. So come winter, we'll just close this all up, get rid of the cucumber plant. But look, I didn't think the cucumbers would do too well. Fruiting in a bog filter is usually the fish manure is not enough for the fruit. But so far we got one. We got another one there. So, and we already harvested a couple of them. Some damage, but overall, oh, look at the babies. It does look promising that we'll get really nice harvest from them. Then come over here. Oh my goodness. Then we have that monster. Doesn't look like a monster yet. Funny story behind that giant pumpkin. I bought it because I was actually looking for seeds for the contest tomato that I'm growing. And I saw giant pumpkins, so I said, okay, let me get it. So this is the seed packet right here. And I read it, I'm like, well, that's a weird variety. But I put it in my bog filter because I honestly didn't know what to do with it. And it started growing. It was the biggest sprout ever. But ever since it started growing and started to go down the bog filter, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to open a door to let this go outside eventually. I really didn't think it would make it outside. I thought it would probably die or something would happen to it. But now that it's outside, I think I should show it to you guys. Because this is the funny thing about that pumpkin plant is this is what this means. That 1357 is actually the weight of the pumpkin the seed was taken from. The 15 is the year the seed was taken from that pumpkin, and Daho is the actual name of the pumpkin. So I was like, oh my gosh, 1,300 pound to pumpkin. Now, I'm not gonna get a 1,300 pound pumpkin because I'm not doing what they do to grow big pumpkins. But I would be tickled pink if I get a really large pumpkin for Halloween, and that's what the goal is with that now that it's grown outside. I didn't know a driveway garden could take this long to do, and I'm sorry if it's taking long, but we've made it full circle. We're now on the final stretch, so let me show you what's over here. These squash at the bottom here, I purposely meant to plant unlike those over there, but this is just your straight neck type of yellow squash, and I've been harvesting from it, having a little bit of blossom end rot. It's more pollination issues, but now that the hibiscus are open, the bees are here, I haven't been noticing it as much. But these I actually meant to put squash on the bottom and bush out and see how it went. Going forward, I wouldn't do that though. I would definitely use grow bags to put squash in the future. And then here's a whole bunch of mystery peppers. These, I lost my tags. Oh, here's a lavender I grew from seed. But most of them are peppers, other than like this basil. This is feverview, another herb that's struggling, but it's still growing. So I'll probably be able to do something with that. It's medicinal. This looks like another skeleton flower plant. Oops, sorry, here. I got a lavender on top just for pollination. I probably should harvest as well. But other than that, I got my squash on the bottom that aren't doing that well. Like this one's pretty much gone. That only has one leaf. And then this one's okay. And then this one's, we'll see. I haven't got any fruit off of this yet, but as long as it's trying, I'll leave it in there. But other than that, all this is a guessing game. This one though, this is a black Hungarian because it has the purple blooms. So it's nice to be able to identify that one. Oh, and then I have some zinnias. Most of what's in here I did plant by seed, with the exception of the lavender and maybe this basil. And then I have the tomato tower. This tomato tower did not get water yesterday, so it's mad at me. You see the leaves are a little bit curled. I'm purposely doing that because I've read that the tomatoes will taste better. I'm not even like tomatoes. I'm growing them for the first time this year because I'm really hoping the hype of garden grown tomatoes is what it is, and I actually like tomatoes. But I love tomato soup, I love salsa, I love spaghetti sauce. So if I don't like it fresh, I know I'm gonna like it, you know, canning it and doing all that kind of stuff with. So I already have a tomato tower video about this, and if you want to check it out, I go into detail about how I lost all the varieties. I don't know what they are and why I started it. So definitely check out that video, but let me show you around. All right, so in the other tomato video, I kind of go into how I'm holding everything up as well. But everything's looking pretty beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. It's just so exciting to grow things. I don't know if you could see that. Look at all those itty bitty berries. I have had some pests on here, but when I went out in the black light looking for them, they were gone. So I really think the birds got the caterpillars that were on here, because they're not there anymore, and I've been watching the damage, and the damage stopped, so that's good. Tonight this plant will get water. I think I'm going to go every 2 days. It is getting hot, and depending on the plant. Oh look, my first ever blossom end rot with the tomato. But like, I'm learning, they say to put shells, like egg shells, in the soil up front, or put tums. So maybe I'll try that with this. And I'm noticing from the wet conditions in the beginning of the season that a lot of people online are having this problem with their squash and other fruit. But this actually looks like something got in there. So these are little blueberry plants. Cherry, peach. There's actually blueberry plants behind all those weeds. I have another squash. I think this is spaghetti squash actually, and it's struggling. I don't know. I just put more soil in it today. It was kind of low. I don't know if that will help it, but I do think that maybe I should have kept one vine if I'm gonna do a grow bag. I'm not sure. I'm learning. Okra. I think this is my you know, sacrifice to pests while the other okras are doing good. This right here is a wild dogga. Remember I mentioned earlier, later on in the video, this is so spiky. Look, the ants are loving it. I don't see any aphids, but these blooms give a more calming effect than chamomile. I don't know if that's true, but I am going to try it this year when I harvest them. So yeah, I'm interested. I found this very interesting, so I decided to grow it. It's also called lion's mane. This is a transplant I planted, and this is and it seems to be growing. So I hear this is really good with salsa too. This is my sweet meat plant that I am so desperately trying to save. Started there, I put more soil in it. It was all yellow, and I'm actually noticing it get darker green. But I also have another sweet meat plant here growing successionally, and another one there because I love them so much. I'm hoping to get some more. Echinacea. This is Rosella, and the flowers, when they bloom, you can actually make like some type of juice that tastes like cranberries, and the flowers out of hibiscus family. So I'm really excited to try that. I wish it was a perennial, but it's not. It's an annual. Here's another. You see how when I actually have to step into the grass, I end up like neglecting my plants because I do not like ticks. And there's so many here in Missouri. But I figure I got enough tomatoes that one's gonna do just fine, and we'll see how that goes. My weed galore. And sunflowers are starting to open, which I'm excited about that. These are just small ones, and I planted a big one here that's starting to open as well. And I have succession planted my sunflowers every 2 weeks. I read that if you plant sunflowers, they will bloom the entire season because they'll bloom for 2 to 3 weeks. So every 2 weeks I come out here, plant more sunflowers. So hopefully I'll have beautiful sunflowers throughout the whole summer into fall. Then here's a lemon squash, and they're growing nicely. I have yet to try this squash. So who knows, it might be better than the sweet meat. Okra. This is a little cherry tomato that I'm letting grow wild. And then here's another cherry tomato where these cherry tomatoes are red. This one is yellow. In here, this is horehound, and that's valerian. And I think I somehow got valerian mixed in with the horehound too, because this leaf looks a lot like those leaves. I don't know what to do with them yet, but I heard that they're medicinal, so I will be figuring out what to do with these before the season's over. And then here's baby sunflowers in there. So I hope you enjoyed my driveway garden. As you can probably see, I do things a little bit unconventional, and I really think a lot of that has to do with my learning. I came from the city, and I just had this passion on my heart to do this garden, and I really never done one before. I wasn't raised with gardens. I really didn't know what to do. And one thing you probably don't know about me is I'm an inventor, so I really definitely think outside the box, and I love inventing, and I like trying things new and just getting an idea and see if it works. So that's a little bit about me, and I hope you enjoy my tour. If you do, let me know if you want me to continue doing these tours or not. All right, I love you. God bless.